This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. So in this session, I'm going to discuss two things actually. Two things. One is that is ASP.NET security. Another one is AJAX Basics. AJAX Basic Control I'm going to discuss. AJAX Basics. Two things I'm going to discuss. So first, let me discuss about ASP.NET security. What is ASP.NET security? It's very pretty simple. If you want to provide security for your web pages of your website, then we can implement security. In this ASP.NET security, mainly we need to talk about two things. One is authentication. Next one is authorization. So what is authentication here? So authentication and authorization. So I'm going to talk about authentication. Authentication is the process of checking whether user credentials. Authentication is the process of checking whether user credentials like username and password is correct or not. So it is the process of checking whether user credentials like username and password is correct or not. Next, if user credentials are correct, then user will be given authentication user will be given authentication ticket. Next, authentication ticket is in the form of cookies. Actually, authentication ticket is in the form of cookie. So completely it is in the form of cookie only. So this is the authentication here. In ASP.NET there are three types of authentications are there. Types of authentication. What are the three types of authentication? First one is Windows authentication. This is default authentication, we can say. Default. Next one is passport authentication. Next one is forms authentication. This is very important. I'm going to discuss about forms authentication only. Windows authentication is the default authentication. So in this authentication, user credentials will be cross-verified from operating system users list. Yes, Windows. In this authentication, user credentials are cross-verified. User credentials are cross-verified from operating system users list. Yes, it is going to be cross-verified from operating system users list. So actually this is anonymous authentication will provide. So that means whenever we try to connect with the website, so far we executed many web pages in our website, but without giving user ID and password, every web page I can able to access, because by default Windows authentication was active in ASP.NET. This is the default Windows authentication. In this Windows authentication, every time whenever you execute the ASP.NET web page, so user credentials will be cross verified from operating system users list. Means our computer at the time of installing operating system, what user ID and password we given for the computer, that will be cross verified. So that authentication is called anonymous authentication. So anonymous authentication will be automatically given by what we can say Windows authentication. Anonymous means you don't have any user ID and password, but for every user, automatically this Windows authentication will provide user ID and password from the operating system users list. That's what we are able to access web page. So this is Windows authentication. Coming to the passport authentication, this authentication we cannot implement normal users. Yes. So in this authentication, user credentials are cross-verified from passport.com website. Cross-verified from passport.com website. This is related to Microsoft officially. So this authentication can implement only Microsoft people. Normal users can't implement these authentications. Normal users cannot implement this authentication. Only Microsoft people can implement. Only Microsoft people can implement this authentication. But whatever, once we have user ID and password in the passport.com website, then internally while developing the applications, they can provide security from passport.com website. Then everybody can access any website in this passport.com website registration time. So this is passport authentication. We will not go through this because it's not possible for us. Now, most importantly, oftenly used authentication in web application development is forms authentication here. Forms authentication. So in this authentication is commonly used authentication in web application development. This is commonly used authentication in ASP.NET web applications. Next, in this authentication, user credentials are cross-verified from database. In this authentication, user credentials are cross-verified from database or database list, database users list, or web.config file Yes, web.config file also we can implement some user ID and password. From there we can able to cross verify like this. This is forms authentication, we can say that. So to implement authentication in ASP.NET, we use authentication tag in web.config file. Yes, compulsory we use authentication tag in web.config file, we can say that. To implement authentication in ASP.NET, we use authentication tag in web.config file. So authentication tag is having two subtags. Authentication tag is having two subtags. What are the two subtags? One is allow, next one is deny. Allow subtag can be used to which users you want allow to access. Deny subtag can be used to which users you don't want to access. This is about allow subtag and deny subtag under authentication we have to use. Sorry, not authentication, sir. This is authorization. Sorry for that. So authentication, to implement authentication in ASP.NET, we use authentication tag in app.config file. That's it. So this is not actually, let's remove this now. That's all. Now coming to the thing, authorization is important to us. Now authorization. So authentication, we finish this theoretical part, then authorization is required now. So authorization, how it is. So authorization is the process of checking. Authorization is the process of checking. Authorization is the process of checking whether authenticated user is having permissions to access the content of the web page or not. See, the thing is, authentication means whenever we have user ID and password, easily we can enter that user ID and password, we can able to connect it to website. After connecting to the website, what you will become? You will become authenticated person because you have user ID and password, but you will not become authorized. Authorization is the process of checking after login also whether you have right to access data or content of the web page or not. If you have right to access content of the web page, then you will become authorized person. Otherwise, not authorized, unauthorized person. So authorization is the process of checking whether authenticated users is having permissions to access the content of the web page or not. Okay. Next, to implement authorization, we use authorization tag in web.config file. Same. Now you can see to implement authorization in ASP.NET, we use authorization tag. In web.config file. Now the thing is, authorization tag is having two subtags. Yes, authorization tag is having two subtags. What are that? Allow and deny. Just now what I have seen, what we have discussed. Authorization tag is having two subtags. One is allow subtag. Next one is deny subtag. Understand? Allow and deny. So first I'm going to use allow users equals to, suppose a comma b comma c. These are the users names. You can say that a comma b comma c users only can access. That meaning is that is. Next, what we can say, allow users equals to star. That means what here? All users can access. Next, deny users equals to ABC. That means what? ABC users cannot access. A comma B comma C users cannot access. Next, deny users equals to star. Star means all users cannot access. No user can access. All users cannot access your web page. Next, here I'm taking deny users equals to question mark. That means what? Deny users equals to question mark means unauthenticated users cannot access. That means exclusively those who are having user ID and password only, that persons only they can able to access. Deny users equal to question mark means, okay, that users only can access, remaining people cannot access. This is allow subtag and deny subtag, what we can say that. So this is the authorization and what we can say authentication information which I am giving. Now let's try to implement some application how to do this. Now forms authentication, I'm going to give some small example. So Windows authentication is a default authentication, no need to implement that. Passport authentication, we cannot implement the normal user. It's related to completely Microsoft people, and we can able to implement forms authentication. That too, forms authentication, I would like to show how to cross verify the user ID like username, password, user credentials from web.config file list only. I would like to show you. For that, I'm going to prepare one new website. Now let's go with step-by-step operations. Now let's move to new website now. Now I'm going to create a new project. So now you can see ASP.NET website I'm going to create for security reason. And even you can implement this already. We have existing web application also. There also you can implement, no problem. But the thing is, for clarity purpose, I'm taking separate website actually here. So ASP.NET web application template, and after that you just click on that automatically. Yes, it will ask you to enter the web application name and change the location. Even I'm going to select that folder in G drive only. Now you can see I'm selecting that folder in G drive where I want to save. Now click on select folder and give the website name here. So web application, web app ASP security, or web security in ASP.NET. Web security ASP, it's my project name, no problem, any name you can give. Let's click on create. Now how the way I'm creating, you can see this, some steps. I'm going to create first empty web application only I'm creating. Later you can add as per your requirement. And now, you know very well, in the last sessions we discussed web.config file is only one per website. So if at all, if you want to add more number of web.config files, you can't add actually, but if you want to add, then you can create subfolder or any subdirectory. In that directory, we can attach one more web.config file clearly. It's possible actually here. Yes, now let's go to Solution Explorer. I'm going to create one web page. So what web page? Here you can see by default this is having web.config file. It's okay, no problem. I'm going to create a web page now. So two web pages straight away I'm going to create. One web page is called add new item. Now that web page name is called like what we can say web form I'm selecting. So welcome.aspx I'm going to prepare. Just welcome.aspx. This is my web page. Now I'm just showing that welcome.aspx. When we navigate to welcome.aspx, whether it is welcome page or not, I want to show you. So that's what I'm taking h1 tag here, welcome page. Okay, that's all. Now go to design, flip to design, no problem at all. Now after that, what I'm trying to do here, directly one more web page I'm creating, that is login.aspx. Let's go to add and new item. So the name is login.aspx. I'm going to create login.aspx. Login.aspx. Click on this. Once I created login.aspx, just for yes, login details purpose, I have some code in the source ASP.NET source code. I'm going to copy and paste that source code from which I'm going to collect from my documentation already, which prepared previous sessions. Let's flip to that documentation in the forms authentication. I'll copy and paste from there, because for designing it will take a lot of time to do. So that's what I'm not going to do this. Let's go with now forms authentication, and now you can see this is the forms authentication implementation. Login purpose, we have a page. So let's try to copy this complete style of the page. So just for username and password purpose, I take what we can say two labels and two text box controls. So that design already we have. Let's copy this source part of the web page and try to what we can say place into your required login.aspx division tag. Okay, place it now. Once I place it, now you can see this. So here what we can say, go to design, go to design. Now you can see this is the design. So username text box, password text box, login. Okay, here. Now here, if you want to check any checkbox like check remember me checkbox, if you want, you can take checkbox also. Now I'm taking checkbox control here just for remember purpose. After login, before login, when we enter some user ID and password, for temporary time period, it can be remembered clearly here. Now here, remember me, and checkbox 1 it is chk, checkbox 1 only, checkbox 1, it's okay, no problem, checkbox. So this is what actually, this is hyperlink control. Click here to register if you do not have user ID and password. If you don't have user ID and password, you have to click on register here. So this is login page actually, but these two pages, welcome.aspx and login.aspx, straightforward I created in my web security ASP web project, under project. Now here I'm going to create one more page, like now you can see I'm going to create one folder. In that folder I'm going to place one, I'm going to create one folder name is called registration folder name, because I can say that this folder web page, whatever this, in this folder whatever the web pages are having, that pages are called restriction pages, I can fill that. So only authenticated users can access this folder web pages, remaining people cannot access. That's what I want to provide security for this registration folder. In this registration folder, right click on it, go to add. Now I'm going to create one new item, that is what web form only. What web form I'm creating? Register.aspx I'm creating, just for sample, register.aspx under that folder. Now here for register.aspx or not, just I want to check out. So register page, I'm going to say that register page. So this is the registration page, but where it is the registration page? Register page is present in the registration folder, and welcome.aspx, login.aspx are present in the straight away in the website only. You can run any web page now. I'm not writing code, I'm not implementing any forms authentication also. Without authentication, I'm going to show you without authentication implementation. First I will show every anywhere you can able to navigate. So you can able to navigate to welcome.aspx, register.aspx or login.aspx, any web page we can able to access clearly, no problem at all. Now, so welcome.aspx I'm executing now. Let it be run. Now welcome.aspx I can able to log in. Now here login.aspx also we can able to do this. Now let's change the web address, URL address. Login.aspx I can able to access. Even when we click here to register, registration page also it's coming redirecting, because in my source part of the web page already registration link was given in the hyperlink context. And I can see in the hyperlink I have given registration folder slash register.aspx href hyperlink reference. So without now you can see no restriction here. User, once he can able to access any web page in even restricted page also, normal page also we can able to visit that. Now let's try to implement the authentication here. To implement authentication, what we need to do, so let's enable forms authentication. Now to enable forms authentication, set authentication elements mode attribute in forms in web.config file of the application. So now I'm going to copy this all predefined code already available. Let's go with this one, copy this and go to web.config file. So now you can see, go to web.config file, straight away one web.config file will be there. That web.config file I'm going under the system.configuration. Now you can see forms authentication I'm doing. Now you can see authentication mode is forms authentication mode. Login URL is login.aspx. Timeout is 30 seconds, 30 minutes. Why? Because here it is what we can say, timeout will be cookie timeout it is, because default time period of cookie is 30 minutes. Now you can see I said that when we use credentials, user credentials will be always authentication ticket will be there. Authentication ticket in the form of cookie only, that will be stored here. Now default URL is what actually? whenever we log in, the default URL is what? welcome.aspx. Protection. Protection all means it will be provide some security of your web page. So all the ways it is going to be protected, all encrypted and decryption options will be available. Credential password format will be clear. Now what users list I'm giving? Web.config list, Mohan name, password Mohan, and Seshi also there. These two users I would like to allow. These are the authenticated users. I decided that. Credentials I'm giving. Credential tag. Now in this authentication, it is clear. Now authorization also, you can see this authorization tab. There is a subtag I use. Deny users equals to question mark means what? Deny users equals to question mark means unauthenticated users cannot access. Unauthenticated users cannot access means only authenticated users can access. Authenticated users, who? These two persons are authenticated users. Once I implement this, now you can see this. Let's flip to login.aspx. Now double click on login button code. I have to implement login code. Now in this login code, so I need to write some logic here. So what logic? That is simple code if else condition. Now you can see this login URL, the URL of the login page. Timeout is specify the number of minutes of the authentication cookie persist on the client's computer. The default time is 30 minutes. And default URL is the URL will be redirected for after authentication. After user ID password checking, what is the default URL? welcome.aspx I need to navigate. Protection all means like specify the protection for authentication cookie stored of the client's computer. The default is all, which performs encryption and data validation. Other possibility settings are encryption, validation, and none also. Now let's double click on the button control. Now let's prepare this code here, logic code. Now here I'm taking, yes, let's move to here. I want to implement this. Now here forms authentication dot authenticate txt username is not there. Actually txt username and txt password, it's okay. Text box names here only you can use username and password, but this checkbox, remember me, is not a checkbox name properly. Here checkbox one, that is control name, checkbox one dot checked, because username can be remembered when we activate this checkbox one dot checked. Now forms authentication is showing error. Later I will rectify that error. So we don't have LBL message.text for displaying invalid username and password if it is wrong password. So that's what I'm going to display within the page itself. If you want to display within the page itself, response dot redirect of, sorry, response dot write I'm going to show you. Now response dot write invalid user ID and password I want to show you. That's all. Now why it is showing forms authentication error? So it's a class actually. This, if you want to implement forms authentication, we need to do using system dot web dot security we can use. This is compulsory required. Yes, this namespace is required. Now you can see once I implement namespace of that forms authentication is completely if forms authentication is a class, then authenticated is a method where you have to get user ID and password in these two text boxes. Now if it is correct, then create the authentication cookie and redirect the user to welcome page. Forms authentication redirect from login page, txt username dot text, whatever we enter username, that should be remember once we activate this checkbox, else invalid username or password, I need to say that. Now this time you can see this, even when we execute welcome.aspx directly also, you will not go to welcome.aspx because some restriction will be there. In the web.config file implemented forms authentication, there I have given clearly only authenticated users can log in. But whenever I directly, even when we execute welcome.aspx, it will be redirected to what? Login.aspx. Why? Because without login, you can't directly access this web page. That's what it will be reverse redirecting to login.aspx. There you can fulfill the authentication and automatically will redirect it to welcome.aspx. Okay, now you can see I'm going without login. I'm going to show you, click here to register. Is that possible to go to register page? No. Why it is not? Previously it was there. When I click here, we will redirect to register page. Why it is not possible now? Without authentication it will not allow. So authentication I'm going to use. Now I'm going to give wrong user ID password. Now you can see Sai and Sai. Click on login, invalid username or password, it is coming. I'm going to check correct authentication. Now Mohan and Mohan. Now remember me, if you want you can activate, otherwise leave it. Now click on login. So you can see this previously what page you redirected. Actually welcome.aspx should redirected, but unfortunately we click over their link button, no registration link button, hyperlink button. That's what it is coming like this. Now once I go to this one, now SHA, now click on login. Now registration page is coming like this. But actually where we should go, which page you have to redirect, welcome page we have to redirect. Let's try to do this. Because before welcome page we have redirected, let's login.aspx. Welcome page W capital, no? Let's move to web.config file, and W is capital or not, let me check out. So once cross verify. Now let's run this welcome.aspx. Now you can see welcome.aspx when we execute. Now will it come or not, you can check out here. Now previously it was not came, it will redirect to the directly registered login.aspx. Now this time what happened? Welcome.aspx is coming because already we have logged in. I activate the checkbox for remember me for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes of time it will be used that cookie only. That's what it is going to be redirected to directly welcome without asking user ID and password. Understand? So let's run this login.aspx now directly. So now I'm going to use user ID and password there, valid user ID and password. So authentication we are providing now. I'll show authorization also. So registration folder is having register.aspx. For that register.aspx, only the people who are authentication persons, he can able to, now you can see welcome.aspx. Now you can click on register. You can able to register page also, you can able to access. Now here you can see Shashi is the valid user. Then here also click on login. Now we can see welcome.aspx we can access and register.aspx we can access. That means authenticated users only we can able to access this all pages. Previously without authentication we redirected to any page we navigate without writing code. Now here I would like to implement some authorization, sir. How to implement authorization? Strictly remember, even we have one web.config file here. In this web.config file, two users are there, Mohan and Shashi. But in these two users also, I want to make one person authorized and one person I don't want to make authorized. Now this time, two people can able to access everything. But I need to provide one of the user restriction. On Mohan user, I would like to provide restriction. To provide restriction to access registration.aspx, in the registration folder, I'm taking one more web.config file. Yes, generally straight away one website contain only one web.config file, but if you want to add one more web.config file, so you can add some folders or subdirectory. I have already added sub folder here. Right click on this folder and go to add, click on new item. I'm going to add web configuration file here. So let's try to add web configuration file where it is there. You can see this web configuration file, somewhere it is there. Wait a minute. Web configuration file is there. Now web.config file I'm adding. This web.config file is completely belongs to WhatsApp in the registration folder register.aspx. In this web.config file in the system.web, I'm taking authorization tab now. Authorization. Now in the authorization, I have to go with allow users equals to only Shashi. Only Shashi. Allow users equals to, or else better to go with deny users. I'm going to take it. Deny users. Those who don't want to allow, then we can use deny users more. So now this time you can see when we execute this also, even Mohan user cannot access that registration.aspx. Only Shashi user can able to access that, because one of the person I'm going to provide restriction for Mohan users. One of the person I don't want to provide restriction. Now let's try to log in this now. Now even though these two users are authenticated, but one is authorized, one is not authorized. Who is authorized here? I'm trying to access this Mohan and Mohan, but he can able to authentication welcome.aspx. Go back now, click on register. Is it possible? No, it's not possible. But what about this user Shashi and Shashi? Now his authentication, he can able to register page directly. We can access previously what we discussed, register page. So one person only can able to access register page, that is restricted page. One person cannot access. That person is who? Mohan, because I have given clear restriction on this web.config file. This web.config file is only can handle with the registration folder register.aspx. I maintain clear authorization users equals to Mohan, DNA users equals to Mohan. So this is simple authentication and authorization we can implement in ASP.NET to provide one or more pages security internally. Though you can able to log into multiple users, that users cannot able to access some restricted web pages. Yes, we have some restricted web pages in your website, but you don't have any restriction, then everybody can access those restricted web pages also. So that's what this kind of security we can implement internally for website. This is authentication and authorization process. So that's all about this. Now let's close this now. I'm going to open our old website for AJAX implementation purpose. Now I'm going to discuss about AJAX Basics. Some of the important controls I'm going to discuss in this session, AJAX Basics. But actually you can use AJAX many of the controls also, no problem. So I'm taking basics of AJAX here. First of all, I need to explain what is AJAX. So point number one, AJAX stands for asynchronous JavaScript, asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Next, what is AJAX here? What is AJAX? AJAX is a web development technique. AJAX is what's actually web development technique, we can say that. AJAX is a web development technique. Next, AJAX was developed by Jesse James Garrett. Jesse James Garrett. He is the man who developed AJAX. AJAX was developed by Jesse James Garrett. Okay. Next, AJAX is not a single technology. AJAX is not a single technology. It is the combination of technologies. It is the combination of technologies. AJAX is not a single technology. It is the combination of technologies such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, like what we can say DHTML and XML. These are all combination of technology. It's not a single technology, we can say that. Next, AJAX will improve the what we can say look of the website. AJAX will provide rich look for the website. AJAX will provide, just wait, I'll write. AJAX will provide a rich look for the website. And AJAX controls will improve the performance. AJAX controls will improve the performance of the website. Why? Because I will tell you. Performance of the website. Why it is increased performance of the website? Because all AJAX controls will not execute at server side completely, like normal ASP.NET standard controls will execute all at server side, but AJAX controls maximum will be execute at client side only. So now you can see all AJAX controls will execute maximum part at client side only. Okay, so this is AJAX control introduction. All AJAX control will execute maximum part at client side only. That's what we can improve the performance of the website, we can say that. Next, another thing is, so to work with AJAX control, to work with the AJAX control, we need to download AJAX controls toolkit.dll. Yes, we need to download AJAX control toolkit.dll, compulsory required. And we need to attach this AJAX control toolkit.dll to your toolbox. So this is actually here. Next, AJAX controls can be of two types. AJAX controls can be of two types. One is extender controls. Next one is non-extender controls. Non-extender controls, we can say that. Extender controls and non-extender controls. Extender controls will support ASP.NET controls. It will extend to ASP.NET controls. But non-extender controls will not support ASP.NET controls. That is the importance actually. Let's try to do this. Now here, extender controls will support to ASP.NET controls. Next, whereas non-extender controls will not support to ASP.NET controls. Will not support to ASP.NET controls, I'm saying. Yes, it's not possible to support ASP.NET controls here, non-extender controls. That's the meaning is non-extender. We cannot extend with ASP.NET. Next, another thing is if we have to manage, important note I'm giving, to manage any AJAX control script in web page, we use script manager control. Without script manager control, we cannot manage AJAX control script. Actually, AJAX is completely JavaScript based, CSS, JavaScript, HTML, all those things. To manage any AJAX control script in web page, we use script manager control. If we have a web page with AJAX control, any one of the AJAX control, if you don't have script manager control, then it is not possible to work with AJAX controls. This is what I'm saying. So first of all, let's try to flip to Visual Studio, and we will go through our previous website, what we discussed. And in that, already we have I have AJAX control toolkit in my computer, AJAX control toolkit. That toolkit, we have to download it, no problem. You can go to Google and type download AJAX control toolkit also. It will come easily. That toolkit we have to attach to our toolbox, in which website it is required to you. Then in that website, you have to attach to toolbox. First, let me add AJAX control toolkit to my toolbox. Let's flip to first web page. Let's go to toolbox. We don't have any AJAX controls in the toolbox. First, let's add one web page. Now you can see this. Add one web page. Add web page, add new item. Web form I'm adding, that is web form 52. Now go to design. Now you can see. So you can go to toolbox. Now we don't have any AJAX controls. You can see standard, we don't have AJAX controls. You just observe here. All tabs, you can expand it, try with this. AJAX controls we don't have. Only AJAX extensions will be there, but we don't have AJAX controls. But how to add AJAX controls? Now to add AJAX controls, you can right click on general tab, add tab. One tab you can use. Then my tab name I'm giving AJAX. It's the name of the tab. After that, you can go to toolbox again, right click on AJAX tab, go to choose items. Once you click on choose items, it will ask you to browse AJAX control toolkit.dll where it is there. Now click on browse and go to location where AJAX control toolkit DLL is there. I have AJAX control toolkit DLL in my computer already. So .NET info, then AJAX control toolkit and bin, and select AJAX control toolkit.dll. You can click on open. Then automatically it will be add AJAX control toolkit to toolbox. Lot of controls we have. It's not normal ASP.NET controls. It's AJAX controls. When we use AJAX controls, we can give some extra look and feel for our website. So, and even using AJAX controls without writing any logic code, we can fulfill our requirement. We can fulfill our task easily without writing. But instead of AJAX controls, when we use ASP.NET controls, you have to use lot of events, and it will take a lot of time to load and process. So that's what performance will be decreased. If you want to go according to client requirements, you can use any AJAX controls in your application development. Once it is attached, now click on OK. So now notice that in the toolbox now you will be able to see that lot of AJAX controls added clearly. These controls you can able to use as per your requirement. Okay, just I'm going to show simple examples for AJAX how it will be look without writing any code. So first of all, I'm going to show one important control, like some button control I'm taking here. Button control, generally normal standard button control. So this is normal ASP.NET controls. Now you know ASP.NET controls, it is ASP.NET control. This is submit button, you can feel it. Assume that it is a submit button, for example. Submit button, this button control, what it will happen, this is ASP.NET control. Without what we can say, without AJAX, I will show first. Double click on submit button. Now you can see I'm going to write here response.write. Response.write. Just I want to show you in the h2 tag, page is submitted. Page is submitted. Now h2 tag I'm closing. Now let's run this now. Now let's execute this without AJAX. We don't have any AJAX in this page. Let's add AJAX, how it will be different. So it takes time. Now click on submit button, automatically page is submitted, it is coming. Understand? But now we can implement AJAX here. What is AJAX control? How it will be work out? You can see this here. No permission is asking whether it need to be submit or not, proceed or not. Let's try to select this AJAX button control. This is normal ASP.NET controls. We can extend some of the controls also. Now click on smart attack here. Click on add extender. Add extender. These many extenders we can able to attach to your button control. These are AJAX controls. I'm going to show you confirm button extender. So confirm button extender is used to set confirmation text. Click on OK. Once you click on OK, now this ASP.NET button control is having some extra behavior, like AJAX control behavior is there. What control I have added? Confirm button extender I have added. Now let's go to tool properties. Now here confirm button extender control explicitly added here, extra expand it. Now you can see confirm text. If you want to give, you can give this. For example, I am going to show you confirm text. Do you want to submit? Yes, I'm going to show. Just I want to show you. Now click on execute. Now this time you can see before going to be submit, it will ask the confirmation. Do you want to submit? Now yes means it will be submit. No means it won't submit. That is clearly here. So this is AJAX confirmation text box control, text box extender. Now, oh yeah, you can see this. A script manager is required on the page to use ASP.NET AJAX script components. I said that when we have a web page with AJAX control, compulsory to manage that control, a script manager is required. What is the script manager? Here you can take script manager. Go to toolbox, expand what we can say AJAX extensions and script manager. You can drag and drop. Now you can see now this time it will work AJAX controls well. Without script manager, you can't make to work properly AJAX controls. That is compulsory required. Now you can see as soon as when we click on button, it will ask confirmation. Do you want to submit? This is AJAX effect. Cancel means no event fire. Again, when we click on OK means event will be fired now. This is AJAX control, extender control, confirmation extender control. Before going to fire the event, it will ask you to confirm. And if you want to remove this extender, click on smart tag, remove extender. You can remove that if you don't want to work out. Now let's go with other control. I want to give wantedly here. You can see scrolling option for my web page. Scrolling option I'm giving wantedly. Now scrolling option. Let's run this now. When we have scrolling option for web page, after executing, whenever scroll up and down, the content of the web page will go up and down. So it's not always visible. But if you want to display always, even though when we scroll up and down of the web page, your controls present in the web page, if you want to make to display always there, then we can use always visible extender control. Now you can see I'm not using any AJAX control here, but I want to do this scroll up and down. You can see I scroll up, button control is not visible to you. I scroll up, now button control is coming like this. But I don't want to do this. I want to visible always this control, compulsory button control. Then we can expand this smart tag, add extender, always visible extender. This is AJAX control. We can add it. Now once you run this, now automatically your control will be there. Even though when we scroll the web page up and down also, control will not move up and down. So sometimes we can use this control in website development. Even though the tool even though header section will be always visible to you, then even though when we scroll up and down, only content will be scroll up and down, but header section, header part will be stable. That is always visible extender, we can say that. Now you can see this is button control, always it is there, but it's not going to be move button control. Always button control is there. You can see this. Yes or no? It's not going to move. Only content is moving. Button is there always. So this is always visible extender. We can say that. And remove button control now. I want to show you some more controls, AJAX controls with text box properties. Now let's go with the normal standard text box. So here in the previous normal ASP.NET examples, I have executed. I have shown some calendar text, calendar example. Calendar control example I have shown. But calendar control, how it is work, so many events you have to raise. You have to take calendar image, and we have to, in the page load event, you have to write lot of code like calendar one dot visible equals to false. When we click on calendar image, again visible equals to true. After that, when we click on calendar, that daytime time it should be displayed in the text box. Lot of events was generated, but now AJAX not required. Directly click on smart tag of text box, add extender, then calendar extender. You can add it. Now run this, automatically calendar will work out here. So this is the AJAX useful actually. Directly we can able to add any control to your web page. So let's try to do this. This is AJAX control. Now you can see, expand this, automatically calendar is coming or not? Yes, calendar is coming. date and time I'm taking. Even you can go through this calendar control is coming like this. This is calendar extender. Next here I'm going to remove this calendar extender. I want to show you another one. Filtered text box extender will be there. Filtered text box. So now you can see filtered text box extender where it is there. Text box watermark extender, I can show that watermark. So this control also can be used. After that you can go to properties and expand the filter watermark text box extender here. What watermark you want to display in the text box, you can give this, no problem. Watermark text, for example, I'm using username watermark text I want to give. As soon as when we execute, that username is present in the text box itself. That means no extra label is required for a display or something asking username, all those things. Now you can see this. As soon as when we click over there, it will go like username. Label is not required for this. This is called watermark text box extender. This is also AJAX. We can use this. You will see that many of the websites like this only here. Now next, masked extender will be there. Masked or something. Now password strength extender I would like to show you. Password strength extender. Select this one and expand, add extender. Password strength extender will be there. So you can able to find out that password strength, how it is, how many lowercase, how many uppercase. If you want, you can go through it. Properties, you can expand. Text box password strength extender, you can expand that. Now here you can able to set as per your requirement. Minimum lowercase characters, how many you want allow, then one I want allow. Minimum numeric characters, one I want allow. Minimum symbol characters, one I want allow. Minimum uppercase, one I want allow. Preferred password length is 6, I want to do this. Okay, lowercase 1, uppercase 1, preferred password strength is 6 characters I want to use. This is about what we can say password strength extender. Like this you can add many number of what we can say AJAX controls are there. You can work on it, no problem at all. Actually in apart from ASP.NET, if your requirement is not satisfied with the ASP.NET standard controls, then according to client requirement, in the designing part of the websites, many of the websites will use AJAX controls. But even AJAX controls also not required satisfy that things, then they will buy some third-party controls also while developing this. Now I'm giving M small letter, O capital letter, H @ symbol, N 1. Total characters are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is unbreakable, it is showing. So like this, it will be shown, strength will be shown. This is about password strength extender, we can say that. Okay. Now filtered text box extender also will be there. That is, you can able to filter the characters, whatever we enter the text box. So that is filtered text box extender. This is filtered. Filtered, which characters you want allow and you don't want allow, that you can decide. Then this is filtered text box extender, text box 1 dot filtered extender. Now you can see this what we can say valid characters I'm taking ABC. Okay, invalid characters XYZ. Now you can see, let's run this. Valid ABC only, invalid XYZ. XYZ will not be work out here. When we try to give X and Y and Z, it won't accept here. This is filtered text box extender, we can say that. Now I'm going to give ABC. ABC is okay. I'm going to give XYZ. XYZ is not coming. It's not coming. So this is filter values. So this is about AJAX Basics. So that's all about our complete ASP.NET sessions.